Take my hand. I'll lead you into death. By a Whisper in the Shadows, on AO3. Episode 24. Chapter 14. Katsuki knew something was wrong. People talk about hero instincts for a reason. It's one of the things that devolves the ordinary from the extraordinary. When they feel like something is wrong, they listen to their instincts and do something about it. Katsuki always believed he had a pretty good instinct, and nothing about hearing those locks clicking into place felt right. Nothing about leaving Izuku in that room alone felt right. Nothing about walking away felt right. He made sure to say as much to Aizawa as they entered the common area. The man paused, taking him in briefly, an unreadable look on his face. Weirdly enough, I was thinking the same thing. He finally said. He glanced back the way they came, mouth open to say something again, when he was cut off. Someone's crying. Everyone in the common room's attention was instantly on the two listening Quirk students who had spoken at once. Jiro's eyes went wide as they locked on Katsuki's, glancing at Shoji, who just looked as shocked. It doesn't sound good, Sensei, she whispered, standing up and looking down the hallway they had just come up from. Katsuki and Aizawa looked at each other, again. Then, the boy sprinted back down the hall. He ignored the footsteps behind him, the calling of his name, and the bodies he shoved out of the way. He only had one thing in mind. Izuku. Getting to the door, he instantly tried the handle. Of course it was locked, but that didn't stop him from yanking at it. Calling into his friends. The door was solid. He couldn't hear anything coming from inside, but he hoped Izuku could hear him. Bakugou, move, came his teacher's stern voice from behind him. Katsuki was yanked away from the door by hardened arms as his teacher went to unlock it. Kirishima stood next to him, giving soft reassurings. Todoroki on his other side. Katsuki ignored them, his full concentration on his teacher's attempt to unlock the door. His teacher who had keys for the door. His teachers whose keys were not fucking working. What? Aizawa mumbled, staring at the door in shock. He tried again and again, but nothing. Katsuki had enough. He moved forward, ready to explore the fucking door, when a cold hand gripped his arms. He whipped around to Todoroki, growling at the ready. If he's upset, I don't think an explosion will help, he said, his monotone voice edged with concern. Katsuki wasn't sure what Todoroki's opinions on Izuku was. At first he thought he was staying around just to piss off his dad. But no. Something in those cold, mismatched eyes showed Katsuki that Todoroki cared for the boy. For whatever fucking reason. He'd figure out later. He needed Izuku out of that room. Spark plug. He gasped out eventually, Todoroki's eyes narrowing in confusion. Spark plug. Katsuki said again, turning away from Kirishima, who was also watching him with concern. He noticed a few of his other classmates down the hall, glancing on the scene with mixed emotions. Get fucking Kaminari! Kirishima's eyes widened briefly, before he was sprinting down the hall. When Katsuki turned back to his teacher, he was startled by the hostile glare he was giving the door. Goddamn fucking commission, he growled. Now their teacher was never known for his care of children appropriate language, but he rarely outright swore, none unless he was at home. Or really fucking angry. He took a large breath, before turning to Katsuki, eyes flickering red briefly, hair floating slightly. Yeah, he was really fucking angry. Good call on getting Kaminari, he said through gritted teeth. I'll stay here in case I'm needed, but I have to make a call. I trust you could handle this alone for now. Katsuki glanced at him indignantly. Very well. Don't blow anything up. With that, Aizawa moved down the hall slightly, typing fast. Katsuki turned his attention back to the door. He leaned his forehead on it, trying to be patient as Kirishima retrieved Kaminari. Bakugou. Katsuki lifted his head to see Jiro and Shoji's worried faces. He grunted. What the hell is this, Bakugou? The noises he's making. Shit, man. It sounds like he's in pain. Katsuki closed his eyes, grimacing. Who the hell is the Reaper? It took a minute for Katsuki to answer. And when he did, his voice was quiet. There's a lot of shit you don't know. No one knows the full story. Not me, not Aizawa, not the fucking commission assholes. I honestly think Izuku isn't fully aware of what happened to him over the years. He took a shaky breath. He was taken when he was 6. Kidnapped. He's not even 17 yet. He's not just some villainous assassin, okay? He looked up at the sound of pounding footsteps down the hall. Spread the fucking word. You needed me? Kaminari panted aggressively. Open the fucking door. He paused. Please. Kaminari nodded enthusiastically, moving in front of Katsuki. Katsuki stood back, nodding once at Shinsou and Kirishima, who were also out of breath. What the hell were these idiots doing in training if a little running had them dying like this? What happened? Shinsou asked. Katsuki eyed him cautiously. He wasn't sure how to approach Shinsou and Izuku. He didn't necessarily want them to be best of friends, but he still wanted them to get along. He wasn't sure what would ever happen. Shoji spoke before he could. Midoriya sounded upset. Aizawa couldn't get the door open. He thinks the commission did it on purpose. Katsuki growled. He knew damn well this was some setup by the commission. By the looks of his teacher's face down the hall, Aizawa knew it too. Kachan. Katsuki's attention moved quickly to Shoji. That's what he calls you, right? He was calling to you. The tall boy hesitated. Eyes casted down. There really is a lot we don't know about him, huh? About you, both. Katsuki nodded once, sharply. Can't say a lot of opinions are going to change overnight. I fucking know that, Arms. Katsuki growled, tapping his foot fast as he turned his attention back to Kaminari, who jumped back a little from the door with a hiss, shaking a shocked finger. Before anything else could be said, he shot another bit of electricity at the door. The whirring sound of locked opening, music to Katsuki's ear. He practically shoved Kaminari out of the way, freezing momentarily at the lights off. He heard Aizawa swear after coming up behind him, before moving away slightly again, hissing furiously into his phone. Izuku had a nightlight for a reason. They weren't sure what caused his intense fear of the dark, yet, but it was enough to bring him back to thinking where he was when he fucking came from. Aizawa told Katsuki about the panic attack he had the first night at theirs. Told him about the papa he apologized to. Katsuki pushed his anger away as he moved quickly to his room, a whimpering cutting out all lines of thought. Catching sight of Izuku, his breath hitched. The boy was curled in on himself, sat down in the corner of the room, a hand gripped tightly at his hair, an arm wrapped protectively over his own head. The other hand scratched intensely down and up his leg and arms as he rocked aggressively. His breath was fast and sharp, choking on what air he took in. He whined, high, and like an injured animal. Katsuki, in his panic, ran to him fast, lighting his head up to see better. Before his hands could even brush the other boys, he had lashed out, kicking precisely and hard to Katsuki's chest, flinging him onto his back. Bakugou! He waved the worry away, moving towards the boy who had curled tighter in on himself again, slower this time. Kirishima, the light. Turn on the fucking light. He hissed, eyes not leaving the cowering figure in front of him. He heard a series of rapid clicks, but no light came on. It's not working, man, came the boy's worried tone. Katsuki swore loudly, before waving at them to stay where they were. He didn't need Izuku to be overwhelmed. He could hear their voices, but shut them out. Izuku needed him. Izuku. Another whine escaped the boy, followed by incoherent mutterings. Zuzu, it's me, Kachan. It's okay. You're okay. He continued to whisper to the boy, voice breaking slightly as he finally heard what he was saying. I'm sorry. I'll be good. I'm sorry. Over and over and over again. Slowly, Katsuki put his hand out, letting speckles of light dance for them, softer this time. Shh, Izu. It's okay. You're safe. It's Kachan. I'm here, okay? Kachan's here. You're safe. He let his hands move in front of the boy's eyes, watched as they blink rapidly, gaze as unseeing. Look, Suzu. Look at the fireworks. Shh, it's okay. Look at the fireworks. That's it. Slowly, Izuku's eyes focused more on Katsuki's hand, his mumbling drifting off. Tentatively, he reached his own hand out, fingers shaking as he felt the prickle heat from Katsuki's palm. Hey, Izu. You okay? See? Ka-chan's here, alright? Can I touch you, Zuzu? Mm-hmm. You're okay. That's it. Just breathe. Izuku just barely gave a nod, but Katsuki took it as permission as he slowly pulled the boy's nails away from his arm, leaving the other hand up and cradling. He needed to move Izuku, needed him away from the room. He stopped his light display, moving to hold Izuku more, but the boy whimpered as darkness fell upon them again. He swore inwardly, letting his palm up again. He reached out, brushing the boy's curls back. He didn't flinch at his touch, though Katsuki was unsure if he was truly there anymore. The boy simply stared blankly at Katsuki's hand, shaking. Todoroki, he called quietly, waving at the boy to come down. Need some fire. Just a little. Just enough to fucking see. The quiet boy didn't question Katsuki at all, instead lighting a ball of fire in his left hand. Izuku's gaze switched to the brighter light, blinking rapidly. His hand fell into Katsuki's now spark-free one, fingers opening and closing lightly. Slowly, Katsuki maneuvered around the boy, pulling him into his chest, and allowing their hands to remain together. It was a little difficult to lift him that way, but Katsuki was no weakling. Izuku whimpered again, pulling himself closer to Katsuki, nose buried in his neck as he breathed shakily. Todoroki kept the fire light until they left the room. Even though Izuku had stopped watching, Katsuki caught the boy's worried gaze, nodding at him. Thanks, Icy Hot. He grunted. Todoroki lifted his eyes from Izuku to Katsuki, giving in his own nod of acknowledgement. Pushing out of the room, Katsuki only barely gave time to let Aizawa know he was going to his own room. His teacher said something about following him later, but he was still concentrating on his phone call with whoever. Katsuki gave no time for objections, pushing through the eager gazes of his classmates, his full attention on Izuku. Ka-chan's safe. It was whispered, a barely there murmur, but Katsuki heard it all the same. He squeezed the boy tighter to his chest, murmuring softly to him. Izuku was seriously messing with his image. After a bit of struggle to get into the room, Katsuki had Izuku lying on his bed, desk light on so it wasn't too bright. It was enough to illuminate the red streaks on Izuku's arms and legs, however. When he moved to get a cloth to clean them a bit, a strong grip held his. Izuku still looked like he wasn't fully seeing anything, but he also wasn't letting go of Katsuki's hand, fingers trailing lightly over his scars. Katsuki brushed his curls off his face, hands scratching into them. Before he could say anything, there was a slight knock at his door. Bakugou, you alright? Shitty Hair whispered, opening the door gently. Izuku didn't seem to notice the intrusion. Focusing solely on Katsuki, the blonde gave a small nod. You need anything? Katsuki snorted slightly. Actually, Shitty Hair, warm water and a cloth would be good. And something to drink. Oh. Pinky's light voice came from behind Kirishima as she moved slowly into the room. She handed Katsuki 2 cold bottles of water. We thought he probably needed some. Katsuki grunted, taking them from her. Carefully, he coaxed Izuku to sit up against him, murmuring into his hair as the boy whimpered. He gave Izuku the water, encouraging him to drink it slowly. Katsuki felt him tense slightly against his chest as his brain started processing the other bodies in the room, before relaxing again. As quickly as he could, Shitty Hair came out of Katsuki's bathroom, holding a small basket of warm water and a cloth. After leaving them down, he and Piki stared at them for a minute. Katsuki rolled his eyes as he began dabbling with Katsuki's cuts and the cloth. They'd probably have to trim his nails, along with his hair, but that was a job for another day. You can tell the extras we're okay. We'll see me at breakfast tomorrow. He grunted, as his hovering friends both turned to leave, whimpering soft goodnights. Just before they crossed the threshold, he called out quietly again. Thank you. The door closed, and Katsuki kept his eye on Izuku, whose own were fluttering, stuttering to stay awake. He held the boy closer to his chest, continuing to care for his wounds. They fell asleep like that, holding each other tight. Katsuki with only one thought in mind. He was going to keep Izuku safe and happy, no matter what. Shouta was livid. There had only been a handful of times where Shouta felt this angry, and most of those were only a cover-up of fear or sadness. Not this, though. This was pure and utter rage. He sat in Nesu's office seething, his glare set on Hanzo, and her commission partner that didn't care to learn the name of. They had blocked Shouta from entering Izuku's room. He was given a damn key for a reason. Not only that, but they also turned off all the power, even though they had been explicitly told that he needed light in his room. He didn't even care how early the meeting was. He was happy to drag those ignorant bastards out of bed. They had a set of rules for a reason. If they all followed the rules, things should go okay. Shouta wasn't even aware of the Izuku needs to be locked into his room rule until the doors had closed in front of him. Yes, he was given a key, but he had a master key for all the dorms in case of emergency, so he hadn't thought much of it. It wasn't like the key fucking worked anyways. Nezu sat next to him, also angry. Apparently they had gone over the locking with him, which he was already worried about, but agreed to nonetheless. Anything else? Not a word. Nezu takes pride in knowing what's happening in his school, so the fact that the commission got this past him had him gripping his teacup to the point of cracking. It didn't help that he had already grown such a soft spot for Izuku. We already told you, Reaper wasn't to have any technology in his room. Hanura tried again, but Shouta cut her off swiftly. A nightlight hardly counts as dangerous technology that could cause anyone harm. She stopped talking, closing her mouth in contemplation. Shouta had a sense that a lot of this wasn't her idea either. Didn't mean he had to like her or play nice. Harazu's partner rolled his eyes. Shouta opted to call him bastard in his head. Asshole. Oh, please, an assassin doesn't need a damn nightlight. Izuku is a child. A traumatized child. Shouta snarled, slamming his hands on the table as he stood. Izuku? Bastard questioned, scoffing. Getting a little attached, aren't you, Eraserhead? All these children are making you soft. Shouta growled. These children are what will be putting money in your pockets in the next few years. These children will be the reason you and your family sleep peacefully. But right now, they are exactly that. Children. And I'll be damned if I don't let him live like the kids they are. He turned to leave before fixing the screen with one last glare, snarling. Get Izuku's damn room fixed. He didn't bother waiting for a response. He knew Nezu would be more than capable to continue on his own. He had a class to teach, after all. Remember how I said before that the commission in the rule set had a very certain view of Izuku? It was very Reaper this, Reaper that, consequences after each one. It was very dehumanizing when it came to Izuku. They did not view Izuku as a child. They barely even viewed Izuku as a person, but this hard criminal that they are to contain at all costs. This person without feelings or emotions or any type of bodily autonomy. Nezu and Aizawa had it more personalized. Nezu did have it at arm's length. It was less of like depersonalized and more of a professional standing. While Aizawa did not give a shit about professionalism, nothing like that. It is literally Izuku. He gave a little bit of professionalism, but you could tell the different levels, right? I do very much think that Nezu deeply cares for Izuku, right? The Hero Commission, though, does not give one fucking rat's ass about Izuku. It is blatantly clear. It is blatantly clear with what they did. It is so blatantly clear. That's all I have to say. It's blatantly fucking clear. That they do not give one rat's ass about Izuku, Izuku's feelings, Izuku's bodily autonomy. They didn't even acknowledge the fact that Izuku was a child. They acknowledged, they said that, what's it called? One of them said, literally, Izuku Getting a little attached, aren't you, Eraserhead? All these children are making you soft. See? The simple act of saying Izuku, saying their name, is quote-unquote too attached, right? Something as small, okay. Let me put this in perspective. For example, in Squid Games, they do not have names. They have numbers, and they are often referred to their number. It's not blank first name, blank last name, or I guess in Squid Games it would be blank last name, blank first name, has been shot down, has been eliminated. No, it's player 235 has been eliminated, right? It is dehumanizing. It is dehumanizing, and to dehumanize someone in such a manner, in such a way, is a psychological way to diminish them and make them feel as though they have no bodily autonomy. When you diminish someone like that, and you're someone of power, you are saying to that person subconsciously, you do not matter. We do not care about you. You do not matter. You are not a human in our eyes, and you do not deserve bodily autonomy. It is a form of manipulation. And I want to strangle the Hero Commission. I almost always want to strangle the Hero Commission in any fic, if I'm being honest, right? Like, for example, Hawks. I know there's a lot of talk about, at least in fanfictions, I don't know how it is in the actual anime. Again, it's been so long. But in a lot of fanfictions with Hawks in it, as like a main character that's spoken, Hawks lets go of his name. He is only ever referred to as Hawks. He lets go of his name. That is a form of dehumanization. Yes, he is given a new name, but it's in the sense of, see this new name? You are mine. It is what happened with Izuku and fucking that bitch. I'm gonna call him bitch. Little bitch. So, he would no longer call Izuku or Midoriya. Izuku would only be his sweet bunny. I think it was bunny. His sweet bunny. His Reaper. It was dehumanizing to an even higher degree because not only is it taking away Izuku's name, his sense of self, but also taking away his own autonomy directly, linking him to being the property of someone. It is dehumanizing. It is a form of manipulation. So, the more you know. I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow for more. Thank you for my small psychology corner. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.